Well, we would certainly love seeing everyone. And I don't think I've said this in the past few times, but these Thursdays sure do help break up the month, these first Thursdays. And I really just, I love them. And it is terrific. And I enjoy seeing everyone. And these really are my favorite days of the month, even though kind of a CTAT inside baseball here. We started scheduling because the roundtable and next gens are on Thursday. We started really scheduling a ton of stuff on Thursday. So we just have Zoom after Zoom after Zoom after Zoom, and it's it's terrific. But when we get to the roundtable, this is what I think is the best, and we certainly appreciate all you guys being on here. And to stay in sequence on time, we're going to jump in and get started. Chelsea, can you see that okay on the slides?
Yes, sir.
Well, welcome to the Professional Roundtable for April 3rd, 2025. I know that you have plenty that you could be doing on your school days, and taking an hour out of your week to come on here and help other members is appreciated more than you know. It's all working together is what moves the bricks up and builds the pyramids. Appreciate you guys. All these Zooms are recorded, and I've already hit the record button. That's my reminder. Double checking here. And in addition to that, um, because it is recorded and will be posted on CTAT social media platforms like YouTube, you may wish to participate with your video turned off. So if you do, that is certainly fine. But appreciate it, and know that we'll have this on YouTube. Again, we're celebrating 25 years to CTAT this year. This is our fifth season of the statewide CTAT round that started off as a um, COVID update, but it became so useful to members and such a beneficial opportunity. We kind of kept it in, and of course, it's one of the great parts about CTAT, I think, is this opportunity to Zoom and talk to folks. There's some pretty interesting April memes out there when I was doing research. Like this guy, he said, "What if April Fool's Day is actually April 2nd, and we've been fooled to believe it's April 1st?" And if you really sit there and think about it, that's kind of it's kind of disturbing. And so I'm going to move on. Of course, Mr. T is he always says it's April Fools, and of course you can't argue with Mr. T. But this was my favorite. This is some Easter bunnies around, and you have the bunnies sitting there taking pictures, and of course one rabbit giving the other rabbit the rabbit ears. And for some reason that made me chuckle, Chelsea. I don't know why, but that's found that humorous. On this day in 1922, Que Sera Sera, Doris Day was born, and she actually died in 2019. In 1926, Gus Grissom, who was the commander of Apollo 1, which in 67, actually three astronauts died in a devastating fire while checking out systems on the launch pad. Not even close to launch, but anyway, Gus Grissom died in that fire with Roger Chaffee and Ed White. Certainly an American hero. Gus Grissom was also the second man in space, and had Gus Grissom lived, he most likely would have been the first man to walk on the moon instead of Neil Armstrong. Interesting history. And for those of you who love Saturday Night Live or just comedy in general, it's hard not to give a nod to 1961. Eddie Murphy, one of the all-time greats, was born in 1961. Happy birthday to all those folks. As far as an event, in 1975, it's hard to believe this now, but back in the early 70s, chess was hot. And Bobby Fischer was probably one of the most famous people on the planet. And he beat Boris Spassky to actually win the chess championship back in the early 70s. And in 1975, at the World Championships, he refused to play in a chess match against Anatoly Karpov, which gave the Russians the World Championships back. And shortly thereafter, Bobby Fischer went into seclusion for over 20 years. Here we are at CTAT. We didn't not show up. We're all here working together, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate all of you. Like as always, a special thank you to the board of directors and for all of the guidance they give in programming and the operations of CTAT. Thank you guys. We really appreciate you. And about an hour ago, we had the area presidents meeting, and the leadership that these folks provide in the state is incredible. And it is I don't think, Robin, I understate this when I say that the strength of CTAT lies in the areas, and the stronger the areas are, the stronger CTAT is. And so we appreciate all you CTAT area presidents. The standard programming, we have next gen administrators that happen the third Thursday, this roundtable. We have professional conferences coming up. We've also been sending out some quotes for some in district professional development. Probably most districts want those in May, June, or August. So if you want one of those, get those in. District program evaluations, we are just about got those as full as we can get them, but we might could squeeze one in May if you needed it. And then our area outreach trainings, the next gen cohort, of course, we will start the next gen number 6 cohort will start in September of 2025. Of course, those of you on here probably already know that the summer conference this year is going to be in Dallas, July 21st through the 24th. And it'll be at the Anatole. And if you've been there before, you remember what a gigantic facility that is. And Sergio, you don't have to go very far to get good barbecue over at the Ferris wheel, or good seafood over there at the Flying Fish when you're in Dallas. And I'm sure a good time will be had by all. But most of all, we're looking forward to seeing everyone and the networking experience. In saying that, we want you 100% to come in and tell us about the great work you're doing and your great programs, what things that you're doing innovative, what terrific curriculum are you using. Come and share that via a presentation at the CTAT Summer Conference. We're needing about 20 more. So go in there, get the submission, tell us the great stuff that's going on, and let others benefit from your expertise. The Forensics Law and Public Service Conference is going to be held June 16th through the 18th at Sam Houston State University. And we're excited about the opportunities. We have the Texas Engineering Extension Service that is going to be there doing forensics presentations. We have tours lined up with the Walls unit at the state pen, and we have the Criminal Justice Department at Sam Houston State University contributing too. And we're really looking forward to this. And registration is actually taken off. I think, Robin, we're somewhere around 50 right now. We think that's about halfway.
That's right.
Fantastic.
We're about 40, 45 as of today.
45. Fantastic. So tell your forensics and your law teachers to get in there and get them a spot. Our area outreach professional development has been fantastic. We wrapped that up in El Paso, and we really appreciate the work that Hugo and Fernando and the folks at the Region 19 Service Center did there in El Paso to help us put on such a successful training. We finished up with a counselor training and a campus CTE coach. I think if I counted right, we ended up totaling 250 campus CTE coaches trained this year. And I'm excited to see what those guys can contribute to their districts. April 29th through the 30th will be our last regional training that we do in partnership with TASBO, where it is designed for your CTE person, your PEMS person, and someone from your financial office to come and do training. And of all the trainings that we talk about, this is the one where we get the best feedback from, because you and your financial officer hear the exact same information at the exact same time, whether it's based on PEMS, financial accountability, travel, whatever that is, then this is where you can learn it. So take advantage of this opportunity. come to Houston. I think it's going to be at the Harris County Educational Complex. And so looking forward to seeing you there. We talked about the great campus CTE coach training. Thanks to all the folks, Brooke and her crew helping out at in Houston, the Birdville folks helping out in the DFW area, Miles Van helping out in City View, Georgetown ISD. Director Schultz there really opened up his facility, made us feel at home, and it is a beautiful new facility at their complex. And of course, the El Paso folks. Any events that we talk about, all you have to do is go to the CTAT.org and go to events, and you can sign up there. We're going to get to advocacy a little bit later in the thing here. Just want to mention that the June 1st, we will open up the District of Distinction application again. And you can go in there and get on this list, meet the qualifications. Remember, it's a designation rather than an award. We use a platform. It does have a fee base, but we've seen 1,000 times over that the money that's going towards this, that you're reaching back in recognition many times over. And I think we could give you 100 examples of that, or 38 examples for sure. But most importantly is this District of Distinction provides recognition for your programs that you have earned. Leadership CTAT has really taken off, and this is an incredible group. And Robin, if you don't mind, will you kind of, I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but just a little bit about Leadership CTAT. You had a meeting last week.
We did. So our group we have 5 meetings on the schedule, and we've got a fantastic group that, I mean, we have had 100% participation in each one of our meetings. We just finished round 3 this week, and these are folks who've been members of CTAT for at least 3 years, and they're interested in getting more involved and serving in leadership roles at the area, state, and hopefully regional and national levels too. We've met so far and talked about CTAT's governance, how our members are nominated, elected, ways to get engaged in committees and task forces and area leadership, board leadership. We talked about how CTAT's finances are managed and how the board has oversight over those. We've talked about advocacy, CTAT's role, and how members can get more engaged that way. We have talked about the marketing and member engagement efforts that CTAT makes, ways for members to connect. And we've got 2 more meetings to go. We're going to talk about what happens in planning for conferences and events. And then we'll do some reflection and goal setting with this group. And they're absolutely fabulous. You will see them in leadership roles very soon.
And Robin, it's fair to say, I would think that a lot of the folks that are in this group are already considered leaders in career and technical education across the state. And this is just going to make the leadership efforts that they're already giving more impactful. Well, Robin, we appreciate it. And thanks to all of you that are participating in Leadership CTAT. Moving on with the important updates. For those of you, of course, we have Chelsea Reeves that is here to give the updates. And I'm sure that real close to her is her dog, Jasper Tweed, who is a beautiful little specimen. And I can't wait to hear more. Chelsea?
Hey, since Jasper isn't in here, I can tell you that he got his summer haircut, and he's looking more and more like that photo that Mark just showed than what he really used to look like. But we still love him no matter what. All right, let's keep moving on. So here to provide some important updates, we have taken some of the snippets from our April Connect CTAT chat. So everything that you received in your inbox from your newsletter, and we're just going to go over some of those today to bring them top of mind. So the Program of Study Framework documents are now available in Spanish, which is an incredible resource for your programming, whether it live in your counseling and advising area, whether it be published on websites, included in ARD manuals. It's just an incredible opportunity to have this Spanish aligned documentation. And they are editable as well, but a great resource for you guys to have. You have the Perkins 5 summary and supplemental reports have dropped within CEDAR, and that application is in teal. These reports provide that data disaggregated by Perkins special populations for CTE learners and non-CTE learners. And if you don't have access to the CEDAR application, you can submit a request in teal. And if you ever need support in what access do I need to have, reach out to your ESC CTE specialist or contact Mark and I, and we're happy to support you through that. But definitely check out those reports. And then in terms of Perkins and Perkins 5 and topics such as UGG and EDGAR and allowable and unallowable uses of funds, basically anything and everything that we always wonder about Perkins 5, TEA is hosting 2 great opportunities for you to invest in engagement and learn from. So on April 10th, which is next week from 9 to noon, they're providing a virtual webinar. And you're going to hear from the people that know about all things Perkin 5 and all things allowable and unallowable use of funds, EDGAR, and I hope that it's a very informative but also engaging session where you're able to come off mute and ask some questions as well. Mark and I are hoping to be able to Zoom in, and if you're not able to Zoom in, ESC Region 10 is hosting a session as well in partnership with TEA, so definitely check out those dates. There are resources that are set to be unpublished. We talked about this a little bit, but do make sure that you keep this at top of mind, that effective June 1st, you're going to lose out on some of those resources through TXCTE. So anything instructional will be removed. So go through and identify if there's anything that you need to download or bookmark, and anything that you just need to set aside and say thanks for the memories, because they will go away on June 1st. We are looking to the April State Board of Education meeting that is taking place next week for more information on the high quality instructional materials allotment and CTE batches aligned to the years 2027 through 2031. We hope to have more information that we can share at our May roundtable, as well as in our chat, but we will keep you in mind, and we will keep you informed as we learn more. But definitely look to that April State Board of Education meeting. Another resource that's going away is Texas Gateway, so make sure that you delete that as well. In terms of proposed amendments, there have been changes to curriculum requirements. And so we are looking again to the April State Board of Education meeting occurring next week for anything that may come from this. And so we will keep you informed as we learn more. And then also TEA is hiring a CTE curriculum specialist. So if that is you or someone you know, encourage them to apply for that position, so we can have great CTE representation within that curriculum space, and supporting those efforts at the statewide level.
And Chelsea, it might be important to note there that for the districts that teach principles of technology, which counts as a physics requirement, is having a name change to physics for engineering.
Yes. Yes. So definitely, as when things like this are updated, it may not affect just you and your department. It may affect counseling. It may affect already published resources and documents that now you have to go back and change. So if you ever need support through that, definitely reach out to your ESC CTE specialist or Mark and I, and we're happy to brainstorm with you and provide that technical assistance. Again, this webinar is available to you next week. Highly, highly recommend it. The A through F Final Accountability Rating System Manual for 2025 ratings are now available. So if you have access to that, if CCMR A through F accountability is in your wheelhouse, then log on to Teal under accountability and check those out. Also, your CCMR tracker part 1 is now available. This is a great resource for you to review what is going to be submitted, and you can identify where you are in progress and see if there's anything locally that you need to review, update, anything like that. So if you are new to this process or if you are wanting support, again, reach out to your CTE or CCMR specialist at the ESC or contact Mark Boshier or myself, and we are more than happy to walk you through, give you some best practices, and also connect you with school districts that are supporting that. So here's that guy from Cheers. I think his name is,
Cliff Clavin.
oh man, I was hoping everyone would say it since everyone knows your name at CTAT. But we are, here he is, him and his mom, because I guess he still is a U.S. Postal Service worker, lives with his mom. We're wondering which CTE courses can be taught by a special education teacher or a teacher with a special education certification. And so there are a list. So there are innovative courses such as general employability, as well as career preparation. And so it's a great practice, especially now in this season of change, to review all stakeholders and staff on your team, whether they're in the CTE department or not, to identify what certification do they hold, because there may be someone that on your campus or in your district that has the opportunity to join your team on the CTE team that's already employed within your ISD. So recruit from within sometimes. So definitely check that out. Here we go, the CTE TEKS. Just keep in mind, especially as we close out this school year and get prepared for professional in-service over the summer and rolling into the new school year, TEKS are changing and evolving. They are being updated at the State Board of Education level. So make sure that all teachers are aware of the correct TEKS that they need to be teaching, because that is their playbook. That is what keeps them safe in their job, because if we are teaching to the TEKS, not only are we ensuring that students have the best industry-aligned education possible, but we also know that we're safeguarded at the state level because we're implementing instruction that is TEKS aligned.
And Chelsea, also, let's remind them that the old Texas Administrative Code website is down. So if you want to look at the new TEKS on the new website, then you have to access them through the TEA Career and Technical Education site. And so this is kind of what the new site looks like. And if you go there and you click on Business Management and Administration, a lot of folks have had trouble finding BIM 1 and BIM 2. That's because they're number one, they're on the new TEKS and the new site that are accessible through TEA, Career Technical Education site. And there's the new BIM names. Foundations of Business Communications and Technologies is BIM 1, and Business Communications and Technologies is BIM 2. And so those are only accessible through the TEA website.
Changes and updates, you gotta love it.
And then, yeah.
No, go ahead, Mark.
One more thing. So Lacey Freeman reached out just minutes ago and wanted us to put in there that some districts are offering compressed dual credit courses where a student would spend 9 weeks, 6 hours a day at the community college taking something like cosmetology or welding. She wanted to just make sure that you're aware of the compressed courses and make sure that the time and that the students aren't losing credits in core classes. And a course cannot be coded more than a V3. So if you're there, you're only really getting credit for 3 hours a day. So sorry, Chelsea.
Not at all. And hey, Mark Boshier plugged this earlier, but he is going to give an update over advocacy specific to 3 things that are on our radar, as well as his work with a pretty influential change at the legislature. So Mark, back to you.
All right. So just real quick, this is the list that Robin sent out that are the bills that are on the watch list. And you can see there that we're going to highlight the ones that we think are impactful and have legs that are taken off. And so the first one is House Bill 120, which has a quasi companion in the Senate, which is Senate Bill 1286. Well, anyway, House Bill 120 is from Representative Buckley in the Salado area, and it is increases and enhances the RPEP, the Rural Pathways Education Program. It moves JROTC to Career and Technical Education with funding, and it looks like level ROTC 1 and 2 will be level 1 and 2, and ROTC 3 and 4 will be advanced. That's not in the bill, but that's what folks are telling us. And then also House Bill 120 has an advising component that adds $50,000 for advising per 200 students. The Senate bill doesn't have that, but we'll keep you posted. House Bill 20 is Representative Gates from the South Houston area and Richmond, I think, in the Lamar Consolidated School District area. Anyway, House Bill 20, much like community colleges can offer an applied sciences and associates of applied science degree at the community college, well, House Bill 20 will allow for an applied sciences graduation plan. And that has already, both of these have already passed through their committees. House Bill 2, that's the funding bill that we're watching. And of course, we're watching the voucher bill too. And everything is on hold until they pass the voucher bill or fail the voucher bill, whichever happens. Chelsea was going through and looking at some bills this morning and came up with this one, which I think is terrific. It's House Bill 2189 that sets up a group to look at ways to improve the way that health, career profession courses at the high school and at the community colleges can operate together and maybe provide more seamless dual credit for health science programs, which we all know are a challenge in districts across the state. A few people are pulling it off uh, in an excellent manner, but those are kind of standouts as opposed to the norm. The advocacy measures, without going into too much, of course, we're always engaging with the SBOE, House Committee, Senate committees, wherever we need to. CTAT tries to be there to try to get our foot in the door. And of course, Marty and MJ are down there every day, standing vigilant guard over career and technical education. At the ESC Spotlight this month is Carrie Bowles over in Region 8 in Northeast Texas. We appreciate all the work that Carrie does. Of course, she's a driving force out there in education innovation, especially in career tech. She serves 29 districts and 11 counties. Thank you, Carrie, for so much for all the work that you do in Region 8. And in the news, found a great news article from the Arlington ISD website about the Dan Diaper Career and Technical Education Center and all the great work that Arlington ISD is doing there. They had several good quotes from Ginger Poster, who old ag teacher that is the principal there at the Dan Diaper Center. So congratulations to Arlington ISD. Now I think I'm going to stop the share and hit us back into gallery mode. Are we in gallery mode, Chelsea, on your screen?
Yes, sir. We sure are. Back to Brady Bunch.
Fantastic. All right. Any comments, questions, all that jazz?
Mark, just a quick question. So once again, on those BIM 1 and BIM 2, we're looking at that foundations and that business communication and technology. So I guess that communications and technology piece are the adopted, and that will start. Said it was adopted in 2015, but I'm thinking this is coming up for the 25-26 school year.
Well, I mean, and of course, that's a great question, Sergio. And this is exactly how it reads on the website. And I looked at that myself. And I think it's because the new TEKS, the name changed before the new TEKS. Once the new TEKS are adopted, then these courses will roll over from 130 into 127. So the best example, the best explanation I have is that the name changed before the TEKS. That makes sense to you?
Mark, did the state ID change also?
Not yet. Yeah. So the state ID, I mean, this is BIM 1 service ID number, and this is BIM 2 service ID number. Great questions.
Mark, can you go
Yes,
back
go ahead.
into share mode quickly and put up the BIM1 slide up again so our participants can maybe capture that?
Didn't I just do that? I'm sorry. I thought I had that up.
And we'll do like a 5-second countdown so that way
It,
everyone can grab it.
it's showing right now, right, Chelsea?
Yes, sir. And I think it
Oh,
was earlier. We just needed
okay, sorry.
no worries.
Yeah.
Thank you for supporting.
Let me show y'all some technology here. These are arrows that you can move. So I'll move that arrow and show you that these are still where they were in code. And once the ticks are updated, it'll move from 137 over into from 130 over into 127. But those are for sure the new names of BIM and BIM2. Not right, Chelsea?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, that is not magic. That is just the glory of technology that we're able to use. Who else has comment, questions? Anything good going on you want to talk about?
Hey, Mark, I would just like to plug the CTE coach training that you and Chelsea did this year. It was a great, phenomenal training. I was able to attend the one there in Georgetown, and I hope to see that it continue to grow. Excuse me, as my fighting these allergies, but just encourage other CTE leaders in the area that when one of those is happening, that you can get a chance to go see what's happening with that. Again, it's a great training, the right amount of knowledge. It's a long day for those folks, but it's a great training.
We appreciate that, Paul. And one of the things that we found is that some districts are sending their lead teachers, and then some districts are just sending the coordinators to come, and then they go back to the districts to train their teachers. And I think either model works, and whatever they want to do. But Paul was gracious enough to jump in and help us present when we were at Georgetown, and that was a really, really great group. And if Michael's kind of got his screen off there, but Michael was at the training in El Paso, and whenever you have a mixture of folks in there that have a little seasoning to them, it always helps to train too. Chelsea, there's a question that came into the roundtable from Michelle Wood that said, "Are there replacement resources coming to the to the CTE reach?" What a great question that is.
I don't think there's one-to-one updates or things like that. I know TEA is working on batched resources, whether it be for work-based learning or things like that. So as far as maybe like the scope and sequences come to mind for all of those courses, those TEKs haven't been updated as those TEKs change. But it's my understanding that there aren't going to be one-to-one like replacements. But Amanda, will you talk to us a little bit about the refresh process and what's happening there?
I can't say much more other than that's all I know is that things are out of date. And so they want to make sure that they take a moment and make sure they have everything that they can that's most up to date there. I'm also going to drop something in the chat. This was posted on March 25th, and I don't know if anyone ever uses the CTE lookup tables in PEAMS and TSDS, but this was updated March 25th. So I'm putting that there for everyone to go directly to that lookup table. And I hope that they will edit that and also refresh it with maybe like a crosswalk with some of our new name changes to old names, because there are so many changes happening right now per SBOE that we just, I don't want us to get lost with some of these name changes. So hopefully there'll be an update as well after this update, but that one was from March 25th.
Perfect. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Amanda. I copied and pasted that into my browser with the other 883 tabs that I have open. And I'm going to look at that as soon as we hang up. I think I'm the only person that does that. I have 4 different screens with 80 tabs each.
I was curious, remember last month before, they asked for feedback on their suggestion for doing tiers with the IBCs. Do we know where we are with that?
I think they're still in the process of developing the tiers. And on top of that, they're waiting for the legislative session to completely end, and then they'll send that to rulemaking, is my understanding. Someone else may know better, but that's my understanding of where we're at in the process. But I'd say a pretty good guess, Peggy, is that they're going to use that system that was out for public comment, but it's going to be a while before we have where each IBC fits into each category. Miss Morgan asked, are there districts where purchasing is not requiring 3 quotes for every Perkins purchase? Anyone can speak on that. I know that's going to be a little bit different from district to district because um, district rules are going to apply. Anyone have a comment?
I love all of the comments coming into the chat and some great feedback there of we only use 2 or we don't unless we go over 5,000. And then I think that I remember working for a very restrictive purchasing department. So Casey, they keep us out of trouble. But that doesn't mean that it's always the easiest to work through. So lots of local control there and decision making. I would say again, maybe getting some data resources and support next week through that virtual webinar. So that way you get in code or in writing, or you can take a screenshot of something and maybe invite your CFO or business office representative to take part in that virtual webinar as well. And then also if that's something that we can support you in connection with, we're happy to do so through technical assistance. But it looks like you've got some great feedback there.
And Tammy Caesar put on there something that I was thinking about. If it's on the buy board, most districts let it go through. And then a good place to find out information about that would be at the CTE plus finance training.
Oops. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. So I feel like, not I feel like, it seems like there's been a lot of confusion out there about the Perkins purchasing requirements. And so, man, I've really been digging into it over the last year. I know in our district in Clear Creek, they were requiring us to do 3 quotes for every purchase that we make. And I was wondering where this is stemming from. So I did some research, and I actually just this morning did an online TASBO training because I know that that's where our purchasing and finance folks get their information. And what I saw in this training is that the 2 presenters were actually conflicting each other, and they each believed different things. So I was wondering, so TASBO is an organization, it's not an agency. So, if somebody's a part of TASBO and presents training, it's just an organization. It's not, and this is like what I'm processing in my brain because these 2 TASBO people presenting looked at it very differently. And so depending on what training our purchasing directors go to, they're going to think what the TASBO person is saying is actually the law. So I was wondering if the CTAT organization has any connection with TASBO to where, because this greatly affects us because we all have Perkins. There's more federal grants than just Perkins, but CTE is heavy with federal grants in Perkins.
Miss Morgan, that is exactly why we have the CTE plus finance training. And we do that in partnership with TASBO. And the reason behind that is because things kept coming up, not only in purchasing guidelines, but stuff like travel guidelines. And so we do that. And so when you come, you hear the exact same thing at the exact same time. And Becky Estrada does the finance component of that. And that would be a fantastic question to ask her. But when it's all said and done, districts can have stricter guidelines than the state or federal guidelines.
Yes, I just think that our district happened to be at a TASBO training or presentation where the presenter said this 3-quote thing as fact. And so they took it as fact and went with it. Not that we want to do that, but just because that's how it was presented. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a way for maybe even TASBO to get on the same page with itself.
Right.
With accurate information that is specifically documented in the Edgar guidelines, not an interpretation of Edgar guidelines, but what's in there.
Well, and I can promise you, I will make sure that Becky presents. Uh, I will make sure that she addresses that at the training. But again,
Okay.
what she's going to tell you is just like what you've been saying, what is required by Edgar, what is required by Perkins. And then the district is certainly free to go in and do their own thing. And but I do, you go to one training, you learn one thing, you go to another training, you learn another. It's very, very frustrating.
Yeah, and when I read the actual documents, I interpret them, or I don't see any language that specifically says that you have to track it by commodity code, or any language that says you have to get 3 quotes. So I don't know. I'm wanting someone else, and maybe I can even reach out to, is it Becky Estrada? Is that what you said?
Rebecca Estrada. Mhm.
Rebecca Estrada?
At TASBO. And the information that you get back from her, I think your finance people uh, will respect. But I mean, I've looked at that just like you have, and the 3 quotes is a best practice as opposed to a requirement. And they do that to make sure that the spending is fair and reasonable and competitive and all that.
And then Carrie Chandler had a great recommendation in the chat. Anytime there's conflicting information, she goes straight to a source, Corey Green through TEA. And something that, I've recommended both at the ESC and here at CTAT, reach out to your CTE representative at the ESC. They can scrub your district that you're requesting information from. They can get that information from TEA and then send it back to you. So that way it's not you from such and such ISD, you're just seeking that information. So you can work with us on technical assistance. You can reach out to your ESC CTE specialist. And I would also highly recommend Corey Green.
Okay, thank you.
Different districts will have different requirements too. Some do 5,000, some do 10. So very frustrating. Let's see. Chelsea, it's great to see the folks putting in their district what they do at their individual districts, and so that kind of gives you an idea of 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 what the consensus is out there. So thanks to everyone for putting that in. What other questions or comments do we have this month? Things are rocking along. Thank you, Ms. Morgan, for that. I see Jason Hudson is working hard there. How are you, Jason? It's great to see you.
Hey, Mark. Hey, everybody.
Anything happening there in East Texas?
We've got the Wiley Show and Sell and this gracious rain that we're receiving right now. You know, we love the rain in August if we can ever get it, but right now we don't want it. But show goes on. And then next week, we're having a big, we call it a construction build your career day. So it's a career day where everybody brings their equipment out to our ag center and talk to our graduating seniors and juniors about internships, work after high school, work after college. And so anyway, we've got close to 30 vendors coming out at this point, hopefully to get 40 by then.
I want everyone to make a special note that Hudson is wearing that expensive East Texas State Lines pullover, and I have the Pebble Beach from Costco on. That's the difference in style and class, Paul.
Well, he might shop at Sam's, you shop at Costco.
Yeah, well, that looks high dollar to me, like the president of East Texas State gave it to him.
Well, I think Jason's on their donor list.
Is that true?
I think this is about a $20,000 pullover right here.
Fantastic. Well done. All right. Any other comments, questions?
Are you going to stop recording and let us have that opportunity as well?
Yeah, let's do that, Miss Bullen. Before we do, Lisa, do you mind just giving a brief update on the business content? Because I'm telling you, this is truly exciting. The business content that's coming to CTAT Summer.
Well, I'm excited about it. Hopefully you guys can hear me because my voice is pretty weather affected right now. But we've got a full slate of things available that will be for your middle school level, college and career exploration teachers, which usually align to that business pathway program and management. We've got some great panels of people that are coming in and going to be sharing with us about how things are happening currently in industry, about a wonderful student influencer program that happens in North Texas that you might want to look at, seeing if you can get started in other parts of the state where students spend an entire year working with industry in externships. And so we've got some great information and a lot of experts. Got BPA, we've got some CTSO programs that are going to be shared out. So we're really looking forward to it. And I'm excited that I'll see you all there this summer.
Lisa, I think this is going to be a great opportunity for business teachers to come in and share some best practices and really enhance not only the classroom instruction for business marketing and finance, but also to beef up their CTSO participation, whether it be BPA, FBLA, or DECA.
I agree, Mark. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we appreciate all the work that you're putting in. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, any other comments for the general welfare before we go into Slack? Well, as we sign off here to the recorded portion, then Brooke put in there about the rates at the hotel being the GSA. Yeah, that's a good deal, Brooke. Before we sign off here, just one more time to take an opportunity to tell you how much we appreciate all of you taking time out of your week and coming on here to help each other and share some thoughts and some questions and some answers. So bravo to the CTAT community, and we will see you next month.